Val, this video is for you, since you asked how to roll your own smokes. I'm going to go through the components. First, what you need is a roller. This is a Top brand. In fact, that's the name, Top. It has a rubber mat on the bottom that comes off so you can clean it out, because some of the tobacco falls in there. I paid about 30 or 40 bucks, and there was a more expensive one, but it was plastic. This one is aluminum and steel, and it had stickers on the top that I took off because the tobacco kept getting caught in it. The next thing you're going to need is tobacco. I buy it by the pound. I'm using this kind. It's a real light menthol, and I don't recommend that you use the menthol tubes because it tastes like you're smoking a lollipop. Anyhow, after you get your tobacco, by the way, I get all my stuff at Smoker Friendly. I don't know if they have those in AZ or not, but that's where I get mine. Then you buy your tubes, which are these are king size. This roller will do both king size and 100s. It just has a little spacer you take out if you're doing one or the other. There's 200 tubes, so there's a carton, enough for a carton here, and I generally just keep one of my boxes and store my cigarettes in there. You can store them in the fridge if you want to keep them fresher. Just some cool, dry places normally when I store them. And then I have a couple different cases. This is a hard case, but you'll need something to carry them around in. I'm down to one smoke, so I've got to roll some more. Let's see how. I also made myself a little ramp, and you'll see when I'm rolling, it's just out of index cards. I just folded one over on top of the other ones, and I just tuck it under here, and when I roll a cigarette, it just rolls away. Otherwise, sometimes they roll back into your lap. It does make a bit of a mess, but real easy to clean if you do it on a countertop. I just take my index card and scrape everything back and put the tobacco back in the bag. Okay, this is just a layout of my work area. I suppose I should show where I'm sitting. I have my tubes right here. I just pull them out of the box and I put them here. Somebody gave me this box of tubes from Smoker Friendly, and they're a little bit cheaper than the zigzag, but I'm using them up. I didn't find any difference in the tubes. As long as they fit the roller, and they all do, so pretty standardized. Then I put my tobacco on my right because I'm right-handed, and I usually spread it out about ½ inch thick or so. They recommend you spread it out and let it dry out a little bit. You can actually take, if you want it to be finer and you want to pack your cigarettes tighter, you can take and rub it between your fingers and break up the tobacco to make it a little bit finer. But I usually leave it like that. I don't roll mine that tight. So what I do is I grab a tube and I slip the tube on, and then I take my tobacco, and I usually have a pile of tobacco on the machine, and I pack it fairly loose. I just make sure that the whole thing is full, and then I grab a hold of the handle, which is going to probably block the lens, but you have to hang on to it, and then you crank it out, and I don't know if you can see the cigarette, but it just rolls right away. So we'll pack one more, and then I'll move the camera back. I just slide it in, and the most important part is to make sure that you have the corners, the front and the back corner, are full. If you don't, sometimes it plugs up, but it's rare. There, 2 are done. And then you just continue. You do have to hang on the handle. Boy, I wish I could hold this like this and do it, but because it takes a little effort, and I like to have it on the countertop with the rubber bottom on it, so it doesn't slide around too much. But once you crank it, I can show you putting the tube on. And what happens is when you crank it, the first one comes over and it brings this lever right against your tube to hold it on. Probably not going to focus that well. But it holds the tube on, it crunches the tobacco, and then the rest of the lever movement injects the tobacco into the tube. Pretty much that's it. Throw a little bit more of the process on here, just so you can see. I'm not going to try and go very fast. You see how quickly you can roll cigarettes. I can roll a carton in an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half. And I usually set my iPad up and watch a video or something while I'm doing it. Once you get used to doing it, you don't have to always be paying attention, and you get the feel for how tight you pack them or how not tight you pack them. Mine are fairly loose. The more you fill this slot with tobacco, the tighter the wraps are going to be, or the cigarette is going to be. But I like it loose. I don't like to have to suck on a cigarette like I'm trying to siphon gas. But not that I've ever done that, but anyhow, let's see. And if you're really ambidextrous, you can have 2 hands going at once and just back some cigarettes out. Really, if you just get, the slot is empty, pretty much, you just drop the tobacco in and you just pat it down a little bit and you're good to go. That's still pretty firm for what I'm used to. So, but you have to make sure that the corners are full. So you have to pat it down a little bit. And I think that's 10. So that's a half a pack right there. And I mean, if you're doing something else, it's fine to do this, to roll a carton all at once. I get pretty bored of it. I wish I had a place that I could just set it up and you know, just roll a couple packs at a time, and it would always be there. But somebody around here is a neat freak and doesn't like my stuff sitting on the counter. So anyhow, there you go. The only other advice I can give you is to quit smoking. You won't have to do all this crap.